Like, let's start with the bottom of the NL Central. Let's talk about the Pirates, shall we?
Yep.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. You got Paul Skeens, who was the National League Rookie of the Year, holding down a part of that starting rotation that is just nasty with Mitch Keller, Bailey Falter, and Jared Jones. Like, what?
Oh, I know. But let's not forget that their team ERA throughout the season still was 20th in Major League Baseball at 4.15.
Right.
That's a collective team ERA.
Mitch Keller got touched up some because he had a 4.25 ERA. Bailey Falter got touched up some because he had a 4.43 ERA.
Yeah.
Jared Jones missed some time but also got touched up with a 4.14 ERA, and Martin Perez was not good with a 5.20 ERA in 16 starts. So
look, the only guy sub 4 is Paul Skeens, and he's at a
sub
1.96. Yeah. Everybody else is 4 or better, or higher, I mean.
Right.
And their relief pitching staff, they have the 3.16 from Holderman, and then you jump to 3.38 with Mlodzinski, and then it's 3.79, 3.95, 5.77. Their closers ERA is 5.77 in
with
Elder Bednar.
So it's not good. He only had 23 saves. I always thought it was interesting that he was their go-to guy at the end of the game. But a lot of people like him, right? Like,
yeah,
which is fine. That whatever. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but I've never seen it. I've never understood it. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there that I'm missing, but I don't know. So
23 saves is good. Like it
is good, but when you finish 47,
yeah, no, seriously. Well, 45, 23 45, out of 45, yeah.
And I don't think those are all blown saves. I'm sure they just got him in there because he needed to get his work in. Because this is the thing: is when you're losing a lot of games, your closer's not going to see time unless you just decide to throw him out there. So
correct.
The Pirates, though, like I thought they were going to be so much better this year because it was like, oh, we saw flashes of it last year, and they just weren't. They had 1 month over 500. In July, they played to 15-10. Oh, sorry. In June, they were 14-12. They did have 2 months. Other than that, they're 4-0 in March. It doesn't count. It's March. April, they were 10-17, 12-14 in May, 8-19 in August.
Ooh.
13-14 in September.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it is brutal. So I don't know.
They only had 4 hitters with at least a 100 WRC plus, and this is like if they have the qualifying 200 plate appearances or whatever. Joey Bart 121, Reynolds hit 118, Cruz 110, and McCutchen 105. That's it.
Good for McCutchen, by the way.
No, seriously though.
We saw a resurgence
37.
of Andrew McCutchen this year.
Yeah, he's 37. He's out there killing it, man. He's looking down the line. He's like, I'm not going to be outdone. No way.
Yeah, no chance. No way.
No. If Yasmani Grandal can do it, so can I.
Exactly right.
And Andrew McCutchen had a WAR this year of, according to Baseball Reference, had a .8 WAR, and Grandal had a .6 WAR. So take that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's one for you. So Brian De La Cruz was a midseason acquisition at the trade deadline by the Pirates, and I was like, hey, good for him. That's a good little piece. Didn't go well. Did not go well. He had a 42 OPS plus, good enough for a negative 1.2 WAR with the Pirates. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the cold weather. I don't know, but man, that's ugly.
That's just bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Not good.
He's batting 200, 220, and a 294 with a 514 OPS. Ugh.
And so here's another guy though. Like I know Key Brian Hayes is a defensive first guy over at third base,
and he hurt his back.
He did hurt his back. He won a Gold Glove last year, so he is defense first. But you need more than a 61 OPS plus out of him.
But he hurt his back.
I understand that.
Okay.
Maybe
you're not
be
wrong.
playing.
You need more. I got it.
Maybe he shouldn't be playing.
Well, okay. Now we're talking.
Like,
this is literally the worst year I think he's ever had.
it is, and maybe Brig, maybe this is the thing, is that a hurt Key Brian Hayes is better than the backup option. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
maybe.
I can't imagine. I can't if you're that bad and you're backup. That's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Ugly stuff. So the Pirates, I don't know. I said last year I expect them to be better next year, but at 76 and 86, they finished the exact same record that they finished with in 2023.
Woof.
So I don't know. I would hope they're better next year, but I just don't know if they're going to be.
Right.
Depends on the moves they make. Because I'm curious. So this is the one thing. This is my last thing with them. If they move Brian Reynolds and get a couple of young big league ready players for him, I think they have a chance to be better. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think they will be. Because Paul Skeens only pitches once every 5 days.
Right. And he only had 23 starts.
It's crazy.
Can you believe that?
No.
He won Rookie of the Year with 23 starts and 133 innings pitched.
Yep.
But he only gave up... He only had 31 runs scored on him, and he's only responsible for 29 of those, and they came off 94 hits. He gave up 94 hits and only 10 home runs in 133 innings. He struck out 170 guys. Oh, he's exciting. I don't care who you are.
He is. And so this is my last thing on Skeens. So one thing, I watched an interview with him where he was talking to Rob Friedman, pitching ninja. He credited Friedman with like some of his learning how to pitch growing up, because he talks so much about pitch tunneling.
Yep.
With where every pitch starting in the same location and then breaking into its various quadrants.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool that he's like, yeah, man, I watched you on social media and that's how I learned how to pitch. It's like, oh, dude.
That's so cool.
But that's part of what makes him so good, is he's so good at tunneling his pitches.
He is.
So it's cool to watch. It's really cool. I know.
Should we move into the Reds?
Before we started recording. I told you before we started recording that I was over the hype train on Paul Skeens. I think I'll be over it until the season starts, and then I'll be back on it.
Yeah, you said that, and I was like, what? Okay, that's fine. I'll carry your water for you for a little while. I can do that. I'm not over it at all. I got my Skeens jersey right here. I really do.
I know, I do too.
It's too good. It's just too
fun.
fun.
Let's talk about the Reds.
All right, Reds are 77 and 85. That's a .475 record. Fourth place in the NL Central makes a lot of sense. Team ERA 4.09 collective. That's good enough for 18th across Major League Baseball. Team OPS was .693, also good enough for 21st in Major League Baseball. Woof.
Yeah.
We were so high on them. Dude, coming into this season, we were like, all right, man, here we go. Here we go. Jonathan India, Ellie De La Cruz, Hunter Green. Like, we were just pumped for this team. Nope.
We were, and those dudes lived up to it. India not quite
those
so much
did.
as he could have. But, man, Nick Martinez was good.
Tyler Stevenson was really good. Let me tell you about Tyler Stevenson really quick. He's their catcher. 2.4 WAR, 138 games played. Okay, he struck out 117 times, but he walked 48 times. 19 home runs, 258 average, 338 OBP, and 444 slugging, 112 OPS. I think that this is the guy that they have been hoping for the last couple of seasons. I think he was, 6th Rookie of the Year voting when it was time to vote for him in 2021. 2022, played 45 games, 46. 2023, just about 100 games. In 2024, he came through with 127 plus. And, anyway, that WAR, 2.4 WAR? Fabulous.
Yeah,
don't sleep
that's
on
good.
Tyler
That's
Stevenson.
really good from him. So here's something interesting. If you look at their record month by month, where things really went wrong was in May. They were 9-18, 14-13 in April, 14-13 in June, 13-11 in July. But then August again, 12-17, 13-12 in September. So they were like right there, just right at the average line most of the time. But the 2 bad months really just did them in. Yeah. And I feel like those, if you take those out in those outlier months, this team they're like a 500 team right now, but Ellie De La Cruz is still really raw. And when your best player is that raw, like, I think they're gonna be okay. They're gonna have to trade India. They're gonna have to. They need to move him. They need to get a big league ready prospect for him. And I think that's going to be a big thing. Hunter Green was the guy I thought he was going to be this year. I was stoked to see that.
Oh, the dude was money.
Yeah.
The dude was money, dude. He had a 2.75 ERA and a 1.02 whip, 169 strikeouts. Bro, come on.
Yeah.
He's an ace.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's a legit pickle, Brig.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Let's talk about what went wrong. And one of the things in the what went wrong column is you have to talk about Noel V. Marte's 80-game PED suspension.
Mm-hmm.
He was really an exciting third base option for them. Nope. He made it stupid.
Yeah. Instead, you end up having Santiago Espinal put up a negative .4 WAR. And granted, Marte put up a negative 1.8 when he got back. But I wonder if it would have been different had he been there all season.
Yep.
Because he was a highly touted prospect in the Mariners organization. And that's part of the reason he was part of the Castillo trade, is because it's like, this kid's going to be good, but I don't know. It hasn't shown up yet at the big league level. So we'll see.
And what happened to Ty France? That's all I'm going to say. It's okay.
Sorry, he fell off a cliff and forgot to play baseball.
He did. He posted a negative .4 WAR. He only played 52 games. You want to talk
about Ty France for a minute? Let's talk about Ty France for a minute.
All right.
All season, collectively this season, had a negative .6 WAR, 234 batting average. For the entire season, Brig, he had a 92 OPS plus. And that went, so it was at 97 when the Mariners DFA'd him, and then it went down when he got to Cincinnati. And the thing that's funny is Mariners fans were just like, you'd see only the good stuff with Ty France. Like all the highlights, like, oh, Ty France, he's doing so well in Cincinnati. No, he's not.
No, he didn't.
Nope.
Which was sad because he was on my fantasy team a couple years ago, and he was the only consistent one. He was one of the only guys I could rely on every week.
He was an all-star in 2022.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch him fall off so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and fast. There was an injury last year, and it never came back after that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
That's true. Should we talk about the Cubbies?
Let's do it. Take us in.
Yep. Cubs finished. Here we go. Where is it? 83-79, second place. There. Did we skip third place? The Cardinals?
We did skip the Cardinals.
Oh man, let's talk about the Cardinals.
All right,
no, because they tied. No, they tied for second place. That's what it was.
Well, I think based on tiebreakers, the Cardinal. Because I have the Cardinals in third place on Baseball Reference. So.
Okay, that's why then. Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So let's talk about the Cardinals. 83-79, third place. Team ERA 4.04, 16th in Major League Baseball. Team OPS 704, 15th in Major League Baseball. This was Heimblum's first, real moment of control, real.
He hasn't taken over yet.
What? I thought he started already.
No, No, not yet.
Oh,
They announced that he was coming in end of the season, and I don't even think he's going to take over in 2025.
oh, okay, okay. Well, that's weird. Okay. Anyway,
It is.
point
It's
is,
a really weird situation.
because I thought he was involved in stuff. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking. We talked about
So
that like early though.
September 30th is the date of the article on ESPN. It says he's going to take over as the Cardinals president of baseball operations during the 2025 offseason. So
Wow.
so now
Why did I feel like? Huh.
because it
Anyway,
probably felt
maybe
like
it just
forever ago.
felt like forever
We
ago.
had
Yeah.
the entire postseason to go through after we talked about that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. This was an improvement from 2023, I think by 10 games or something like that. So not a big
12
one,
games,
but still moving up. Yeah, other than that, man, like Helsley was great. He had a 2.04 ERA, 49 saves. They had some thump in their lineup, like Burleson, 269 average, 21 home runs. Donovan, 115 WRC plus. Mason Wynn, still great. 3.6 WAR. Mason Wynn had a 3.6 WAR.
4.9 B WAR.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great season from him, big time. The disappointment came with Paul Goldschmidt, 98
Yeah.
OPS plus and a 1.3 B WAR. That's
Yep.
on Baseball Reference. Is where the B comes from on that. And Nolan Arenado was like average offensively, 101 OPS plus. Defensively, it just wasn't quite there for him this year. And I actually saw today that they're talking about moving him. They're going to try to trade him.
Yeah. Even with a 2.5 WAR posted. But if you look,
Yeah.
that's Arenado 2.5. I'm going to look. 2.5. He has a career WAR of 56.7, just for reference. He had a 2.5 WAR in 2013 with his rookie campaign. 2020, super weird season. He had a 1.5. But other than that, last year 2.4, this year 2.5. Other than that, he has been 6, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4, 7. Like this was
He led the
an off
league
year.
with 7.7 in 2022. He's kind of been, I don't know if he's declining or if he just needs a change of scenery. I don't know what it is yet.
Could be either. Yeah.
And we won't know until he gets a change of scenery. But
You're right.
the problem, so this is, and I knew that, I don't want to say I knew, but I assumed the problem the Cardinals were going to have this year was that they just brought in too many veterans, too many old guys.
Think that's what it was?
I think so. Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, and that pitching staff, right? And then you've got Goldschmidt, who I don't know what's going on there. He might just be old. He's 36, maybe he's just old.
I think Goldie's.
That might.
Yeah, he might just be done.
I think that's just it for him. Arenado's 33, right? And then other than that, you do have a bunch of young guys, right?
Yeah.
Like you talked about Brendan Donovan, Mason Wynn, especially. That dude's only 22.
I know, right? Doesn't make
there
sense.
was not a whole lot. There was not a whole lot in the middle to make up the gap, and so it got to the point that the Cardinals at the end of the season were like, we're going to go back to the old way. We're going to have a complete philosophy change from where we've been the last several years, and we're going to go back and we're just going to try to do things the Cardinals way again, and that's what we're going to do to try to win.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe we're mid-shift then. Maybe we're mid-philosophy.
Well, no, they said that at the end of the season, so they're scrapping it and they're starting over.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
with player development. Well, that's going to be their new approach.
Fantastic.
New old approach.
Right. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, and we can all just be happy about Lars Nootbaar because the guy had a great season, and coming off of his freaking hype train off the World Baseball Classic, and still going. Mm-hmm. I'm still not over it from the World Baseball Classic. I don't know about you.
I still check to see what Lars Nootbaar does at the end of the day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just fun.
Yeah. It is fun. All right, now let's talk about the Cubs.
Thank you. The Cubs. Also 83 and 79, second place, barely. team ERA, 10th in Major League Baseball, the 3.78. 13th, Major League Baseball, team OPS, 710. Lots of good things. But I feel like Craig Counsell wasn't one of them. Been waiting to say that. That's how I feel. I don't want to hear it. That's how I feel. I'm wearing a Cubs hat tonight. I get it. Still not happy. As a bandwagon Cubs fan, let me make that very clear.
Purely, yeah.
As a 100% bandwagon Cubs fan, I'm still carrying around the residual from 2016. A lot of reasons why. Got it. I'm disappointed. They had all the pieces. They had every reason to succeed. They didn't have a single starting position player with a negative WAR, although they did get close with Christopher Morel, but he had a .2.
They got rid of him, though. They dealt him. They got him out of there.
So all I'm saying is, like, they were making the right choices, and I still don't know what went wrong.
So
other than the Brewers were really good.
Offense. I think you can look at some of the offense. Okay. Pete Crow Armstrong is wildly entertaining to watch. But his OPS plus was only 88. We've seen much worse. We talked about much worse tonight. There's that. Yep. Dansby Swanson was 98. Dansby Swanson is a way better player than that. He should be putting up a better OPS plus than 98. Sorry.
Way better.
Yeah, 98.
Yeah,
so
98.
There are some of the problems right there. But I do think some of the pitching was really great. Shota Mike Imanaga, by the way.
Mike, yeah.
2.91 ERA?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. And then everybody else
Jameson Tyone had a good year. Javier Assad, Justin Steele. Kyle Hendricks was the issue, but he's gone now.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
He's in Anaheim, so he's not going to be a problem because he forgot how to pitch. Hector Neris, not bad. I mean, 3.89. He had 17 saves.
Not a great closer, though. Like, let's be honest. You need way more from your closer.
He's not. This is the thing. This is one of those things, and there are certain guys who I say this with. If you have Hector Neris in the middle of your bullpen, you're okay.
Pretty good.
Just like Houston. But if you're relying on him as your closer, and I could say this before looking at these numbers, you do not have a good closer.
Right. Yep.
So it depends on the role you have him in, and they didn't have him in the right spot, having him closer. And I don't know that he was there the entire season. That's just where he's listed and I'm sure that's just because he had the most saves. But that's not the guy.
He did have the most saves for you. But yeah, he also started almost as many, like every one of these guys in their relief pitcher like their stock bullpen pitched about the same number of games, 46, 50, 49, 39, 39, right? Mm-hmm. We've got Tyson Miller, 2.15 ERA, Porter Hodge, 1.88, Mark Leiter Jr., 4.21, Drew Smiley, 3.84. Why do you have Hector Neris closing out your games?
I wonder if there was a switch made, is why.
Maybe.
Eventually.
I hope so.
Because it seems like Porter Hodge probably came around later and was the guy who was closing out games.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
because his hits per 9 is, was it 4.0 hits per 9? And his whip is .884? Anyway. Whatever.
So Porter Hodge made his Major League debut this season. I can see why he would not be the closer early on. I'm sure that
makes sense.
I'm sure he worked his. It looks like he worked his way into that role.
Okay, good for him.
And well deserved. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
Out of Cottonwood High School in Salt Lake City, Utah, by the way, Brig.
What? Cottonwood? That's home turf right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, baby.
Let's wrap things up with the Brew Crew. Go for it. Brew Crew, 93-69 win-loss record.
First place in the NL Central. 3.65 ERA is good for 5th in Major League Baseball. OPS, 7.29, that's 10th across Major League Baseball. And they were pretty good.
They were really great. Pat Murphy did an outstanding job with this team.
Oh yeah. Oh, he really did.
We had zero expectations of this team, and they came in and they just ran away with the division. They won the division by what? It was by 10 games.
10 games.
10 games.
10 games. And they dealt Corbin Burns to do it. And they lost Woodruff to an injury.
Mm-hmm. When we thought the pitching was going to be their calling card.
Yeah. Nope.
So look at this. Look at these splits. This is month by month. 15 and 11 in April, 16 and 12 in May, 16 and 11 in June. A bad July at 11 and 13, but then 19 and 9 in August. And they finished September 13 and 13. I'm sure a lot of that had to do with just coasting.
Sure.
So, consistently very good through the entire season.
Yep.
I don't know. I really did think that they just were not going to get it done this year, and they certainly did. The problem came in the wild card series against the Mets.
Yep.
Couple of clutch hits is what ended up doing them in against the Mets team that had been really hot for a long time.
Yep.
And we kept waiting for them to cool off, but they never did. And then the Brewers just ended up getting the brunt of that, the wrong end of it.
So their bullpen, the Brewers' bullpen, was first in ERA across all of Major League Baseball, and they came in second place across Major League Baseball in saves. Their bullpen was number 1 across Major League Baseball in WHIP, and as far as blown saves, they were third, so like third best. They blew fewer saves than however many other teams. 27.
So here are a couple guys who are major contributors. You've got William Contreras, who was an all-star, Silver Slugger. Bryce Terang was your Platinum Glover in the National League. Sal Frelick was also a Gold Glover this year. Rhys Hoskins was your worst offensive player with a negative .2 WAR, which is interesting because he's still like not good, but he put up a 98 OPS plus.
Yeah.
When you had guys Blake Perkins at 81, Sal Frelick at 83, and Gary Sanchez at 93.
Gary Sanchez.
El Gary. So, and this was the other thing, Brig, that we didn't get to talk about a whole lot. We haven't talked about a whole lot since this happened. Was Christian Yelich played in 73 games this year. Put up a 2.2 WAR and a 151 OPS plus. He was back, baby. Speaking of back, that was the problem.
I was gonna say, I was waiting for you to make that joke. Nailed it. Oh man, he did get hurt.
I thought that was gonna be
games.
it. I know one guy, right? Can't be it. But I was just like, man, there's no way. It's gonna be just enough. But there was a way, apparently.
So the Brewers finished. Stolen bases came in number 2 across Major League Baseball. Walk rate, number 2 across baseball. Runs scored, 6th in baseball. RBIs, 6th in baseball. Can't beat that. Willie Adames was 251, 333, 462 with 32 home runs, 21 stolen bases. That was before he heads into free agency, by the way. This is free agency.
I was going to say, yeah. He has a career year, and then he's going into free agency. So
it's pretty fabulous for him.
It is pretty fabulous for him. He's going to get paid. He's going to be sought after by a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And good for him.
Rightly so.
But and it's one of those things where you look at the Brewers, you're like, how do you replace that? Seems like they'll find a way because they have.
I think so. But Rhys Hoskins was a problem for sure. Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell.
But Sal Frelick made up for it with his glove, though.
True. Yeah, I could see that argument for sure.
So
I feel like the starting rotation was solid, but nothing spectacular. They were okay. They did enough.
Good enough.
But
Freddie
just
Peralta
enough,
was good, 3.68 ERA. Tobias Myers with a 3.0 ERA.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, those are not bad at all. Hobie Milner was put up the highest ERA on the staff of anybody who's qualified with 4.73. But if you've only got one guy doing that because they had everybody else's around, was hovering around or below 3 of their high leverage arms in the bullpen,
you're right.
It's going to get the job done for you.
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, their bullpen was incredible. Like, it was fabulous.
Yeah, I think that
all 30 teams,
the Brewers, if they just kind of, if the Brewers kind of hold serve with what they've done, and they find somebody to plug that hole with Adames, if he doesn't come back, I don't think he's going to.
I was going to say, or if we're just bring him back. Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's going to, but if they were to bring him back, then that's great. But if not, then I think that they'll be able to find somebody because they've been able to do it so far, like I said. So,
yep.
I like it. I like what the Brewers have going on. They got a good thing. Pat Murphy's outstanding for them and likes to shake things up and get things moving. Stolen bases, patient at the plate, drawing walks, things like that. Those win games. Unfortunately, like I said, they ran into a Mets team that was really, really hot.
Also ready to win games. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Baseball family, let us know what you think about the teams in the Central Divisions. If there are things that we specifically missed, there very well may have been. We tried to make it brief, even though we went over an hour on this stuff. There's a lot to get into, a lot to talk about with these things. So if there are some things that we missed with your team, let us know, and we'll address it going forward. We'll talk about it when we get to it. Next week's episode will be previously recorded, so it will just be the West Divisions because I'm going to be out of town for Thanksgiving, so we're going to do that. And then going into December, we're going to take a couple weeks off and do some previously recorded episodes. So this is really the last chance we get to talk about news until January, at which time we will just do a news dump and talk about all of it at once. But in the meantime, make sure you head over to Patreon. You can support the show with one of 5 tier support: $1, $5, $10, $15, and whopping $500 a month. See what everybody gets. Everybody gets different benefits and things there.
Yeah.
But the big thing that everybody gets is the bullpen cut, and you get a sticker as well. We'll send you a sticker for being a rooter over on Patreon. There's a link in the description there, and get yourself some seeds. Stock up for the winter, like a squirrel with a nut. Except you're doing sunflower seeds. Head over to SchnookSeedery.com and use code BTPOD at checkout to save 10% off of your order. And support the show while supporting your mouth and your wallet all at once. Baseball family, thank you so much for joining us.
Don't forget to go over to Instagram and join the giveaways for the 12 days of Christmas.
That's right.
And last thing before you go, Brad, go Army.
Beat Navy. We'll catch you next week.